Alright, Billionaire, back more. Disco Elysium, just starting day 2. It only took us like 6 hours or so to get to this point. But whatever. So what are we doing right now? Fuck, wrong. No, that's... No, nothing. Can we do anything here now?
The door is closed.
No.
Still nothing.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot you have that actually pushed down. Alright, so, yeah, let's continue on. I don't really know where this is going still, but... we'll see, I guess. Oh yeah, we still gotta listen to RGP. Might as well do that.
Major kudos to Kylan for making this somehow work. But I appreciated Vanessa for actually being able to come up with solid logic that it would actually stand up to scrutiny.
Yeah, he just threw everything until something worked. And it was like, okay, don't move it. It might tilt over. Like, let's be careful here. Ultimately with Sarah Beth, and with a lot of people in this house that potentially that are not with the cookout. Like, you think about what Sarah Beth was talking about last night when she first talked to Kylan. She said, I want to play this week so well that I'm guaranteed a spot in the final 2. I want to navigate to the end. And we know, right? We're looking at this. I mean, you're drawing dead. I don't see you making it there at all. But she doesn't know better. She assumes she still has skin in the game. She assumes she still has the capability to do it. But it's like she's solving a puzzle, but it's a different puzzle than the box it came in. The box has like the picture of a pirate ship, and she's making a puzzle of like a car, and it's just not the same picture. So she's looking at the complete wrong page, has the complete wrong pieces, and is operating under that fact that she has all of her stuff lined up.
I mean, ungovernable.
Again,
Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RC being
it's a puzzle where you put it together and it's a picture of like a train or whatever, and then but she's taking the pieces and she's trying to make like a deformed smiley face out of the pieces. Like, no, it's supposed to be a rectangle with a picture inside, not make a picture out of the... Okay. Alright.
Yeah, I also want to just take this moment and say I thought just the image
that would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off. Solving
one
murder isn't worth
This
the
is my
conflict between the
problem
RCM
listening to
and
their
the Developers
whispers
Union.
all night, is that not only was it whispers, but it's whispers of just inane logic that's mangled to the point of unrecognition.
Even
Like,
the
it's
death
just,
of
it's
two detectives.
absurd.
One more thing before we do. We don't
here's
have
the
to
thing,
talk to
Jared.
them
It worked.
immediately. We can
we
walk right
report
past
on
them.
it on an isolated day, right? This is Friday. Here's what's happening. Tomorrow is here's Saturday.
Streetwise.
Shout out to the editors who are gonna have to figure out how to make this work on Sunday. I don't know what they're gonna pick out and who they're gonna give credit to, and how that's gonna go. So that'll be funny to
They
see.
think they own.
Yeah. So it's just to understand my perspective here. To give another metaphor, if Vanessa, like watching Vanessa paint logical arguments was like watching, you know, a master painter paint artwork, and watching everyone else be like, wow, yes, I must agree. Watching Kylan trick Sarah Beth into doing this was like watching a child draw with crayons. And then somebody being like, wow, yes, this is amazing.
This is art right here. Can I buy this right now? Yeah.
So...
Look at all the shit we still to do.
But again, I mean, here's the thing about Kylan. For the last 3 weeks now, he is getting his way. He is the one that convinced Eric X to go after Christian, which was a huge blow to a lot of people's games, other than his own. He then made his own play last week, which wasn't even the best play in my opinion, but it was what he wanted, and now this week yet again.
Phones nearby?
The closest phone but his social game is actually the strongest part of the game right now, and it's the strategy that seems to be falling short, because let's again talk about this. So the nominations currently are planned to be Claire and Big D. Those two end up on the block. The idea is that a lot of people play in the roulette competition. Now, nobody else knows this plan yet. Xavier was just informed as we've been talking, and I think he was telling Alyssa about it, but Tiffany, Hannah, nobody knows that these nominations are going to be in place. Claire certainly doesn't. But
please don't trouble yourself
if
about
everyone
me,
does
sweetie.
play in the roulette,
I was just hoping to
this
make a
puts
call.
us in a weird
The
place.
Welling's phone line
Tiffany
isn't
and
working.
Hannah, would they use the roulette power?
The union office
Would they
probably
play
has
for
a
it?
phone,
If they
but
do
I
play for it,
can't
they
really
have to
get
use it
there.
on one of them.
Or to the phone
Tiffany
booth
or
down
Hannah
the coast.
using the roulette power on Big
Barry's
D
phone is
would
dead
be
too.
massive sort of red flags for everyone in the game. Why are they not using it on Claire? So because of that, they may choose not to play in the roulette. If they choose not to play in the roulette, they're also sort of showing their cards. Why are they not playing in the roulette? Tiffany, at the very least, can claim, I didn't have enough money, but Hannah has basically let everybody know at this point that she got $75, and so she can definitely afford it. She can maybe say, like, I was saving it, but still, now Claire's going to feel a certain type of way about Hannah, like, why didn't you compete for me?
A little missing person
Only off the block.
might just be
So
the
they
thing
could maybe
they
theoretically
can
get away with
run
not playing it. Derek may play it in order to protect Claire. She will certainly be trying to get him to, and he she'll probably make the argument that, watch out, Derek, you're going to be backdoored. But here's the thing: why would Tiffany and Hannah feel comfortable enough to not play, given the fact that Claire's on the block? Why do they feel so comfortable with Sarah Beth not targeting them? So it's a little bit tricky there. And then things get even more tricky if Derek does play and Derek does win. If Derek wins the roulette power, he is likely going to remove Claire from the block, and now they are both safe for what we believe to be the entire week. And that means that, things are getting a little bit trickier, because the roulette power then comes into play.
Oh dear.
If
I'm not
the
sure
roulette
where
power
to begin.
lands on a cookout member, which is very
We'll
likely
be
to at that
celebrating
point.
our
Remember,
16th
there are only 4
anniversary
non-cookout
this
members
autumn.
now. If one of them
Not
is
the
Sarah
most
Beth, and
numerically
she's
satisfying
age-rated
anniversary,
safe,
but
one of them is Derek, and he
I
won the
like
roulette power, and he's
this
safe.
milestone
One
was
of them is
even more
Claire, and
somehow.
she was pulled down from the roulette power, and she is safe. That only leaves Alyssa as the only person not in the cookout who is vulnerable. Now, luckily, Alyssa is one of Sarah Beth's targets, and thus could end up on the block by the end of the week
and his
and going
palms
home.
are quite coarse
However,
from all the field work.
with Big
He's
D on the
quite
block,
gentle.
there's basically, let's see, there's a 1 in 7, 1 in 6 chance
You can't
that
go around forever
Alyssa
sure feeling grown
is
men's
put on the block
hands.
randomly,
If you want to
and a
find her
5 in
husband,
6 chance
you'll need
that
more
a cookout member ends up on the block next to Big
information.
D. That could be Xavier. It could be Kyland. It could be Tiffany. It could be Hannah. It could be Aza. And so, if that happens, if it's, for instance, Kyland, and then Claire or Derek also wins the veto, I don't know that they're particularly likely to want to use it to save Kyland or anything like that. If they feel like they're going to be able to get Kyland out, especially if they are very sure that Kyland influenced the nominations to get Claire back up on the block, then Kyland could be in trouble. So basically what I'm telling you here is that I am making a petition, forming a petition. I'm petitioning the Big Brother gods.
Another thing, he'll likely
Big Brother
have
gods.
all kinds of field gear
Let Derek
on him,
X win the
even if
roulette
he's not
power.
out in the reeds, just in case.
Then fulfill Kyland's inner desires and let him be chosen to go up on the block by the roulette power. Then let Derek X win the veto as well. Not use it.
By a dating agency.
And get the whispers out of this
I'm
house.
afraid. I was looking to
That's
get
what I want.
back into the scene after recovering from my accident.
And on this Friday,
he just
Karen
divorced.
said, let there be mess. That's what you're aiming for, is mess. Because that
We
would
hit it off,
literally
and,
be mess. It would
well,
be very fun
here
to
we
watch.
are.
It would, the idea that at 10, the cookout might
She's
have
skipping
to
over some
discuss
important
who to get
parts.
rid of.
Perhaps
And
you'll
knowing
find
how
out
far
more
down
later.
Kylan has fallen in the pecking order, that would be
I hope I've
that
been
would make
useful.
this week be very, very interesting.
Just some field
Now,
work,
let me
sweetie.
also point this
Morel
out,
is a highly trained
that
scientist.
by
He
Karen
and
saying
his
this,
assistant Gary are
Karen wanting
studying
this,
an
I feel like we're not
extremely
gonna get
rare
this.
species
But
of insect.
sad to say, but the opposite happened, where Alyssa's the person who ends up on that wheel. This is the thing. It's very interesting with the variables that the roulette table brings. Now, real
But they
quick
should have
question.
returned by now.
Let's say
They were just going
let's say
down the
so.
coast
Who is
across
currently
the water
on
lock to set a
route
few
to
traps.
be able to participate in the
He
coin
said
toss?
they'd
Let's say
be
no
back
one
on
spends their
Monday.
money. Who can get it next week?
What
player.
could be keeping
If
them?
nobody spends their money, then Derek X could theoretically get there.
that was
Xavier, Hannah
Could
could
this
both
be it?
theoretically get there. Tiffany at this point seems locked out.
Oh, sweetie.
Alyssa could theoretically
It's nothing
get there
like
with
that.
200s. Big D, if I didn't already say that, could
Gary's
still
as well
get
as
there.
they come.
And I believe
Oh,
that
my.
is it.
What happened to
Ozza
the
could
water
theoretically
law?
get there if she got 200s.
Okay.
So a lot of people could theoretically get there with
Well,
very
whatever the
specific
cause,
numbers.
I'm thankful to
However,
both of you.
again, as
You've
things
spared me
stand, I
another
think a lot of
sleepless
people are
night.
going to be playing in this roulette game. And basically, how this might play out is that
You're welcome,
if, for
man.
instance, Xavier plays, let's say Xavier gets another 75, he plays in this,
I
he's
hate
down
to
to 25,
ask, but
he's out
if your
of the
investigation
coup d'etat,
takes you
he's
to
out
the
of the
other
point of
side of the coast,
Derek
please
plays.
do keep an
He
eye out for
spends
my
125 of his 200. Even if he gets another 100, he's still short 25. He can't play in the Coin of Destiny game. Let's say Big D gets another 100. He plays. He's now down to 25. He's out of contention. Alyssa only gets 75 max this week. She can either play or not play. It doesn't matter. She still can't get there. Hannah, if she chooses to play this week, will not be able to get there.
Yes, some
And
left
just like
field
that,
scientific
nobody
research is
will be able to
exactly
afford
what you need right
the
now.
Coin of Destiny.
Fuck
Right.
up that
So to
vanilla
me,
murder
I
investigation.
just cannot picture a world where they will allow for that third power not to be
And
looked
if you
at
see
next
him,
week.
let
So
him know Lena is
let's
waiting
say
for him
everyone
here
opts
at the
in to
Whirling.
play this week.
He gets so tangled
I'm
up in his
intrigued
work
to see
that he may
how
not know the
they
water lock's
change
been
it up,
repaired.
push more
And it's
BB
cold
bucks
out
out there, or even double up next week. I could see them being like, this week it's double the value for the votes, because there is no world that we're not going to see this coin in some capacity.
Oh, you're
they
such
they
a
will
dear.
not let us not see this.
Thank
so
you, sweetie.
I'm very curious to see what happens and who
yes.
plays, because even if
A
one person can play
zoologist.
next week, then we're guaranteed to see it.
Crypto
But I almost
zoologist,
want
to be more
everyone to
precise.
participate so that they have
It's
to
a
figure something else out or
pseudoscience
push
that
out more
attempts
BB
to
bucks, because I
legitimize
need more
research
BB
into
bucks in this
mythological
house. I don't
feats
like
and
that some
urban
people were
legends.
just priced out for no reason, but they didn't get enough
That's
votes.
one opinion, yes.
Yeah, I agree,
And
and
people
I feel
are
like
entitled to
I
their
feel like
opinions.
getting 3
She's
weeks in a
used to
row
playing
of
off such
$100,
insults casually,
like
but they
if
still
Derek X
affect
is
her.
short, I mean, it feels designed
My
this way,
apologies,
which
I
is
didn't
a
mean
surprise
to
because
undermine
it's
your
poorly
hobby.
designed. But it feels designed that
It's
if
not a
Derek X
hobby,
gets
dear.
$200 and then
It's
$300, he
subfield
can
of
either play
zoology,
in
one specializing in animal
the roulette
species that are
or the
so
Coin of
exceedingly
Destiny,
rare
not both.
that many assume
But
them
he
to
could
be
do the
extinct
double
or
veto
even
and have both
fictitious.
if he gets both.
Searching for such
You'd think, like,
species called
in a theoretical
cryptids
world,
is
you'd
difficult
see
and
when they're coming up with a
often
twist.
thankless.
This is how it makes sense.
And frankly,
If you
many
get maximum
scientists
money,
are too
you can play
lazy
in
to
2
do it.
competitions, but not the 2 most powerful
Universities these
competitions.
days are rarely interested in supporting
And
real
then, you know, like
research.
if you're not liked by the audience, you can only play in the least powerful competition.
The quality
And
of
if you're in
research
the
at
middle,
British
then you
universities
have
has been on
a
the decline.
small chance if
But
you save
you
up
doubt
everything
there
for the
was
most
ever a time
powerful.
when
Otherwise, you can
cryptozoology
take
was
the
embraced
second most
by the
powerful,
academic elite.
or if you go for the least powerful, then you didn't save your money properly. You don't get either of the bigger ones. Like again,
Oh,
in a
sweetie,
theoretical sense,
fascinating.
that makes sense.
But I shouldn't bore
They're
you
not
with entomological
like most of their
minutiae.
twists, but they're ignoring the practical scenarios of you know, people targeting people with money. They're ignoring the fact that
gives you a sideways
you know,
glance.
you might have to spend money. They might be trying to flush the money from the game, and that people may not have enough money at all for the Point of Destiny by the time it gets there. I mean, we talked about what a flop it would be potentially if you flip the coin and it doesn't land on the thing that you want it to land on.
Yeah.
But it would be even more of a flop if they have a whole segment supposed to be
Well,
dedicated to the high roller
it's
room and nobody has
phasmid,
enough money
technically,
to
but
play for it. So I think that even if they did initially design it
yes.
this way, and
Phasmatopia.
it's
A
and they didn't
diverse
account
group
for
of
this scenario,
insects
I
whose
think
bodies
that at this
resemble
point
twins,
they would likely
leaves, that sort of thing.
fiddle with the
Ghost
rules a little
insects,
bit and add some more
colloquially.
money in order to make sure that people would be able to afford it. And therefore, I think that Derek X should absolutely, under no circumstances, not play
where other
in this
phasmids
roulette
imitate
competition.
sticks
Absolutely spend
or
the money.
leaves,
The
this
chance
one's
of
a
him getting at
living
least that extra
reed.
25 that he
It
needs for the Point of
disguises
Destiny
itself
next
among the
week, I
weeds
think are
here on
pretty
the
high
insular
at
Indian
this point.
coast.
And hey, he might even win the HOH competition next week anyway. So, you it's he definitely needs to play. I have a hard time seeing him not play. A lot of people want him to play. Nobody's going to be telling him to not play. So I think he will. And that's now the problem is that he'll be playing against a lot of other people.
I knew it.
So
You're gonna be chasing medic insects with
anyway, to make this to sort of like what to look out for here. Big D and Claire going up on the block. We do not know exactly what Hannah and Tiffany will do with their potential ability to play in the roulette competition. I do not expect Alyssa to be able to afford it. I think that means that we're looking at Xavier,
so much so
Derek, and Big D as the three people that are most likely to play in this competition. It's possible that Ozza, because somebody has to move up to 75.
They didn't know what it was, of course,
now,
but
I think that's likely going to be Claire at this point.
Based on what I saw last night,
yeah,
I think Claire, Big D, and DX are good. If I'm making the guess based on what I've seen, will be the three $100 recipients. If the Big Brother group is any indication of what the casuals might be doing.
So that means that Claire could go up to 75. So that would mean somebody else has to go up to 100, either Hannah or Xavier or Tiffany potentially. None of that really matters in terms of whether they play for the roulette. If Claire could theoretically get all the way to 100, that seems unlikely. But in that case, all three of them would maybe stay at 75.
I suppose
but it basically would probably take somebody else dropping from 75 because they were disliked in the edit of the episode, like Xavier for saying that he wanted to target Derek, or Tiffany for not supporting Derek. If they dropped out of 75, we could see Ozza move up into 75 because she was supporting Brittany, and she has been a character on the show. At which point she would be able to afford the roulette power, and then there could be maybe another person playing, and maybe that would be a third person playing, or a fourth person playing in the roulette. But basically, that's what we're looking at.
I'm not explaining this
at
very
least,
well.
probably Derek,
It is
maybe
very
Xavier,
special.
and probably Big D playing in the roulette. Maybe Ozza, maybe Alyssa.
I wish you
And
could hear
then
him
Hannah and
describe it.
Tiffany, what do they
Then
do?
you'd
We're not
understand,
sure.
I'm
Can
sure.
Tiffany even afford it? She would need to bump up to 100 in order to be able to. And then Hannah, what does she do? I think she'll, again, be inclined to not want to play so that she's guaranteed that Coin of Destiny, which means, by the way, that if Hannah does not play, even if Derek is safe this week, we could see that scenario of Hannah using the Coin of Destiny to nominate Derek
We don't have
next
time
week.
for cryptozoology 101.
But that's what it comes down to. Derek winning this this roulette would be massive for him and Claire and Sarah Beth.
Yes. Guess what's yours?
But him
you're the
losing
sorry
would
cop.
mean
The cop who's sorry. Let's
probably
make
that
it
Big D,
official.
anybody else
Shall we?
other than Derek, except for perhaps Tiffany and Hannah, we don't know what they would do, would likely
You'll
pull
be back
Big
to
D
say
down,
sorry in 2
and
months.
then we would
Stop
see
wasting time
potentially
and begin
Derek
the repentance.
or Alyssa go up next to Claire or one of the cookout. Either way, we're then looking at the veto and what happens there.
What?
If the veto's not used, Derek
Jealous
goes
of the
home.
sorry
If the veto
cop?
is used, Derek
I think
probably goes
that'll
home.
be fine.
And
Don't
it's all going to come down to that.
The one guarantee today is that we're gonna have feed outage for
That'd
a
be
long
super,
period of time
super.
while
Wow.
everyone goes into this
Okay.
room, gets
Fuck
their
off.
ballot,
Maybe
decides they're
we
gonna
were wrong
participate.
about you.
So I would expect any of you who are like, I'm so excited for the feeds. You have about 4 hours, 5 hours today of free time to do other stuff before you glue back down tonight to see the fallout of
The
everything that
man
happens.
ponders his cooking
This,
utensils
high roller
and gives you a
Yes,
little more.
last week
He looks
there
up at
were
you,
the feeds were
then
down for I
looks
think
away
close
quickly,
to like 7
shrugging
to
and
7.5
muttering
hours
something to himself.
for the high roller situation.
Shrugging is
Probably
an
not going to be
international sign.
quite as long this time.
No,
There are going to
I-
be fewer players for it, and they kind of know what they're doing this time. So, but
So-
yeah, I would expect
oh,
the
what the
feeds to
fuck?
be back sometime
Okay.
late.
So these guys over here, is that what they were talking
Big
about?
Brother time to evening Big Brother time. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll see. We'll see where things go.
Oh, is it the gardener?
Still has a lot of different
Detective
potential
Vigilante.
paths, but at the moment, I would still say that Derek is the most likely evictee, followed by Claire, followed by random person who we don't know yet. So we'll
see. We'll see where everything goes. And of course, again, just massive kudos here to Kylan. I mean, he really pulled that one out last night. You know, we'll see where this goes from here.
I'm a legal counselor.
Yeah.
For the
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this could play
there's
out.
something weird about her.
This is the second juror. Now, obviously, there's another week of high roller shenanigans, and there's a potential triple. So there's a lot that has been stacked for this.
See your son for it.
Is this?
Not yet.
It's fine. See?
You're gonna fall. Like what?
Kids. Season to play out, but I'm still enjoying myself. and
I'll be keeping an eye
I'm gonna
on
keep
you.
optimistic.
No strong arming. Nothing
Yes,
official.
and just to remind people that Sarah Beth started the night saying this is not Kylan's HOH 2.0. She ended the night saying I'm gonna make the same nominations.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest.
Really great.
She says nothing.
Jury management here, making everyone think that you're playing your own game here, Sarah Beth. So, that's what we have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm going to be live with Rob in just a couple hours, I guess maybe an hour and a half or so, in the patron group for the Q&A. This is a great week for it. If you have questions, there's a lot of depth that we can get into about specific scenarios with all of these powers and everything with the roulette. So make sure you tune in for that. You can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Karen Armstrong. Go live, talk about Big Brother there, playing games, all that kind of stuff.
What are we going to
You can also
do
find me on
to you?
Twitter @ArmstrongKaren. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the BB Bucks survey that I released last night. This is week 2 of the survey. Last week was not very accurate, but we'll see if this one is. Fewer votes this time, so probably less likely to be accurate, but we'll see. Derek X was the top vote getter in this survey. 45% said they were giving the majority of their votes to Derek X. In second place, 29% was Claire in this particular poll. Claire was, I believe, third or second last week as well, and then got 50 from the casual audience. So we'll see. Tiffany was in third with 10%, and then Hannah was in fourth with 6%. Then Alyssa in fifth with 2%. And then Big D and Xavier tied for sixth with 1.79% each. So very few votes going to anybody outside of Derek X, Claire, and Tiffany, with just a bit going to Hannah.
20 fat men in the Occident
So,
are stealing it all.
worth noting.
And you are their
Puya, where can people
bodyguard.
find you?
People can find me on Twitter @PuyaIsm. They can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Puya. I will be live at 11.
Anyway.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Look, a comedian. Do your job, ask your questions, then get out of Martinez.
Okay, last episode uploaded.
Strange. It's as if people don't believe a cop could be a socialist revolutionary.
This is where you say your bit.
Okay.
Detective.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker, that one.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy smell.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there for $1 million.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're going to match. Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man. In his 30s. Overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 or 46. Eldest in the room. Probably mid-50s. Smoker. Quiet. Across, at the other table, hobnailed working boots, size 43, gang tattoos, Mesk or Sarah Mauritian, in his late 30s, early 40s. He spent his youth in Villa Lobos, a housing project in the Jamil Quarter. There were incarcerations, hard to say what else. The ink is fading. And then, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 46, the big dick, wide at the shoulders and lean at the hips, rugby cap, fingerless gloves, and numerous scars, a little under 40. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it reads T. Hardy, Captain. In the far corner, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 44, 40-something, non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum? On his neck. Forget it. It's not important. Let's call this one the musician. Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy. Boot size 46, deep marks. Probably carried the victim over. He, alone, is 130 kilos. Add the man in armor, and you could easily exceed 220. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy. Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything. Hit them with questions. Where's the 8th Hardy?
The fuck is with you, fella? What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy. There's 7 of us and we're all here. Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl? Who might it be? Elizabeth? The gardener?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! Not even talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it. Looks like the lieutenant thinks so too.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. In. You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm watching you.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
The pretty boy. You guys really love talking about that pretty boy.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
You mean these boots? We all got a pair. We wore them the night we took the pretty boy out back and hung him by the neck. Yeah, we did this. Together. All of us. Until he was dead. That's why our prints are all over the scene.
There's a catch hidden somewhere. He didn't confess so that you could take them all away. It's too simple.
There is no catch. These 7 honest men have all equally come forth to tell you what happened, so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town. So am I. Now, how about you get the fuck out of my town?
He killed the guy for stepping out of line? What? Is Mr. Titus Hardy here a fascist? No, sir. He is not. Get to the bottom of it. Ask again.
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real stiff. Wasn't that obvious, Copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Titus, you don't have to clarify anything.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck, and hanged him till he was dead and steady.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first, then see if it all adds up.
What's this one?
Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But this one, he's sweating profusely and has difficulty breathing. They've smartly kept him out of the conversation thus far. Definitely the weakest link in the chain.
Is that really a thing? So PCGamer.com just did a ranking of all the Assassin's Creed protagonists and put Ezio below fucking Eivor and Cassandra. Yeah, that's certainly a choice. Wait, who the fuck's number 1? Wait. Oh no, they're second, third to Ezio. Either way, I mean, it's still bad. Hatham is number 4. Connor's last.
No. Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how fucking fat he is.
Oh shit, I wanted to.
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is a powerful guy. All muscle.
Keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of twig.
Right fucking here. The fucker pranced in here like he owns the place. Got what was coming to him.
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie. I've done enough explaining here.
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
Alright.
And fuck you, too, Copper. Picking on Angus like this. We're done with this schoolyard shit. And just so you know, he doesn't have trouble breathing.
This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Like what, Cotton? How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol under the Coalition. During the suzerain's reign, it used to be the firing squad.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the Coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the name is unknown.
Rest assured, lawman. None worse than our guy. He got what was coming to him.
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy Boy without arresting all Hardy Boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Who do you fucking think does?
Theo's a great guy. A great guy, but come on. Titus Hardy runs the Hardy Boys. That's why we're called the Hardy Boys, idiot.
I think you got your answer, Mr. Law.
Yes, there are some administrative differences. But on that, you don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier, the representative for White Pines? The same company you're striking against?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what? Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenaries. He stepped out of line.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Cohoy and Semenine written all over it. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara. Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why the strange de-escalation? He regrets mentioning it. Hopes you didn't notice.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates. If we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. That was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grab one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful, young. Gets into the second verse of Never Late. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. Show me your cunt. Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the dirt out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
There's something odd here. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them talk about it.
No, you're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
It's almost an anthropological site. watching him try to assert dominance over.
Not in the arresting mood?
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster, while the little rat-faced man reaches into his sleeve. There's a knife in there. Some of the others reach for their belts. Their eyes are light.
Look, coppers, I know you think you're doing your job here, but there are 7 of us.
That's an Easter 50, a Ziensk-made monstrosity. The last thing you hear is a little murmur. Not a blast, not an echo. No one.
Did we really just die? Oh, that's lovely. Do we have to redo the entire conversation? I just realized it is gonna make me, isn't it?
More dead cops.
That's some bullshit. Alright, I guess we'll just rush through the conversation this time. And realistically, we should probably just end here, though. We'll probably end when this loads in. But, yeah, we'll end here. Next episode's continue on for now. Thank you for watching whenever this loads.